Hey everyone, Triceratops Jr. here. This is just going to be a quick review. I'm going to be doing these periodically from time to time between bigger projects just to make sure y'all still have stuff to watch, but also to cover games that I don't have that much to say about but are still worth covering. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Back 4 Blood is the new game by Turtle Rock, which is a company that was owned by Valve for a while, and they helped in the creation of Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, all that jazz. And then they left and they formed their own studio again, and now that's what we have. They created games like Evolve, if y'all remember that game. But now they made Back 4 Blood, which is pretty much a really similar game to Left 4 Dead in a lot of ways. But I think they've done some really nice updates with it. So currently it's in closed beta, and then in a couple days it's going to go into open beta, and I've been playing it a bit on the closed beta, so I thought I'd just cover some stuff right now with what I think about it. So the first thing I noticed about the game is it looks really nice. Like, even if you're playing on lower graphical settings, which I had to do because the game was a little bit laggy, even like on a higher powered computer, which I thought was interesting, but I was playing on some like slightly lower settings, I think medium maybe, and it still looked freaking great. Like, graphically astounding, especially if you do close-ups on people's faces. Looks awesome. Next big thing, the gun control is really solid in that game. Like, everything feels pretty realistic. I have one complaint, but I'll get to that in a second. But like, for the most part, when you're using a gun and you say go to scope in or something, the gun moves up in a very like realistic sort of way. It's not like instantaneous zoom or anything like that. It happens at a more natural pace, and it makes the pacing of the combat feel really nice. My complaint though is that the recoil is extremely low, so much so that like I'm used to playing FPS games which have like recoil on the guns, you know, and it's pretty standard. You shoot a sniper rifle, your gun's gonna go up. But firing guns in Back 4 Blood, they hardly move at all, and it actually took a little bit of getting used to, so that might be something they change in the actual official release of the game, but right now I was just noticing that as I was playing. Another thing I love, which kind of makes sense coming from the creators of Left 4 Dead, the characters have really good relationships. Like, while you're killing zombies, as is the way of the game, the characters talk to each other, and just like in Left 4 Dead, the characters have like a really nice ongoing flowing relationship with each other. They have funny lines they'll say to each other. If you do stuff like, say, friendly fire, or if you're killing zombies and you save someone, stuff like that, the lines are cutesy, and I think it works really well for the game. So I like that relationship, and I think if they keep building on that and not just keeping it like one-off lines that repeat multiple times, but as, say, the story goes on and you get to later levels, they expand upon those character relationships, I think that'd be absolutely amazing. Some things I noticed, I kind of led in with the goods. Here's some of the bads I have right now. So I noticed I was playing a bit with regular players and the game was running pretty much fine, and then I got put into a match with all bots, and when you're playing with bots, if you move faster than them, then they can like keep up with you. They'll teleport to you to keep up. But whenever they would teleport, it would cause a massive lag spike. And that does not help when you're fighting off like a horde of zombies and suddenly your game starts like moving at 5 frames per second. It just doesn't feel quite right. So that needs some tightening up, I think, but I don't think that should be too hard to do. I mean, honestly, I don't think the bots even need to teleport. I think they could, unless of course you get way too far ahead of them, but like in most cases I think they're fine just running without teleporting. So that's just something that could be fixed up a little bit. I also found that the game was really difficult, like at times. I was playing on the easiest difficulty, which is like veteran. I think there's 3 difficulties: veteran, oh man, I can't remember the others right now, but basically I was playing the easiest difficulty, and I played this mission like 3 or 4 times, and we kept dying at the same place, and I was playing with real people at this point. So either we all just suck, or the game's a little difficult, which it very well might be, which I filled out the survey they give you for like betas and stuff, and I marked that down. It's like, yeah, it's a little difficult, but not too bad. The big thing that I think makes this game separate from a game like Left 4 Dead is it introduces this card system, which basically you build decks in the game. Like when you're in your base camp, you're building decks, And these decks have different cards which apply different modifiers to your characters. So say more health, or more ammo, more stamina, or you can like add buffs like whenever you kill an enemy with melee, you gain health back, stuff like that. And you can build your own decks. They also give you a starter deck. And at first, this deck building idea didn't really mesh with my mind, so it was a little bit confusing to like get into. But once you get the hang of it, it's fine. But I wish they had a bit more of a tutorial, because when I started the game, for example, into this beta, there was no tutorial. They place you into base camp with a like list of missions to do, which was like create a deck, go look at your deck, buy some items, and then eventually start your run and all that. But they don't teach you really how to do things or what these things do. They just have you do it. And so hopefully another thing that they'll get better at in the full release is a tutorial of some sort, just to explain some of those ideas. And that actually reminded me, another thing that was not explained to me until too late. The game has like a horde mechanic like Left 4 Dead, where you'll get horded with enemies, and that can be triggered by birds. There'll be swarms of birds on the map, and if you alert them or anything, they will summon a horde. I did not get a notification of this, and so I was just shooting at enemies, and I accidentally hit some random birds I did not even see, and it brought a horde on us. So like, I wish I had gotten like some sort of notification. And I did get a notification later when I got closer to the birds in person, but I did not know about that mechanic until it was a little bit too late. We survived though, it was fine. But just another thing, I know this is kind of like a random hectic video. It's not scripted at all. Just for future reference, in these quick review videos, I just have like a list of bullet points on my phone that I'm looking at, and I'm kind of just talking. So I can make these videos quickly with minimal editing, which gives me more time to work on bigger projects, which will be coming in the future. But yeah, that's my review so far of Back 4 Blood. I think it's in a good place. Like I said, I think there's a lot of good to it. I do think there's some stuff that should be fixed up, and if I remember correctly, they just pushed back their launch date a little bit, so hopefully that gives them some time to fix stuff up. But for now, with the game going into open beta, more people will be able to play it, so if you're into games like Left 4 Dead, or I'm a big fan of Vermintide, that sort of like co-op horde shooter, a fighter kind of game. There's a better name for it than what I'm saying, but if you're into that kind of game, I think you'll probably really like Back 4 Blood, so definitely check it out when it comes out, or when it's in open beta coming up here. But yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this video, and I'll see y'all next time with either another quick review or a much longer recorded piece of work. Peace out, y'all. I'll catch you on the flip side.